years and I get to throw a party. And I want to thank you all for being here, and in particular my parents for coming from Los Angeles to be here for this special weekend. Nathan has many talents that I wish I possessed. One of them is his ability to commit to something and stick with it, reliably, over time. He is a master of consistency. Where are you, Nathan? I don't even see you. Yeah, it's like you're my missing cousin. I need to see you. This is about you. Throughout my life, I have made innumerable personal pledges, most of which I have abandoned sooner or later. Those 7 pounds I've been trying to lose forever. Yoni, when he was a little boy, used to say to me, "Mommy, how come you're always on a diet but you never lose weight?" My project as a teenager to learn a parak every day of Tanakh. I think I got into Shmot and then it stopped. My project to exercise consistently 3 times a week, it just never seems to happen. I stick with it for a while, weeks or months, but I can never seem to stay the course. Nathan has always made learning Torah a priority in his life, but his commitment to Daf Yomi over the last 7.5 years is remarkable to me. After coming home from work and having been to Minyan twice, followed by dinner with the family, I know he's tired. Instead of collapsing into a chair and gazing mindlessly at a computer as I do, he unceremoniously goes upstairs to the library and learns the daf. Oh, there you are. He opens his computer, pulls up the day's audio file on the OU website, opens the Gemara, focuses, and puts all his remaining energy into it. A recent strategy he has developed is to stand in order to learn the daf when he's extra tired so he won't fall asleep. And yes, there are those times that he does fall asleep midway, and instead of saying whatever, as I would, he starts all over again. That's commitment, that's consistency, that's Nathan. After a trip or Yom Tov, as those of you who do Daf Yomi know, he might have 2 or 3 dafim to catch up on. I never ever, not once, have ever heard him complain. It's never a burden for him. He loves to learn. Nathan's learning of Daf Yomi has given me some unexpected gifts. It has made Rabbi Aryeh Leibowitz and Rabbi Shalom Rosner regular guests in our home. Each night for the last 7.5 years, I hear them teaching Nathan. I know their voices and would recognize them anywhere with my eyes closed. I know when Rabbi Leibowitz asks his brother a shaila, or when he is on summer break at Camp Kaylee. I know when Rabbi Rosner has a cold, which is nearly always. This Siyum, however, has a layered significance for me and Nathan. Some of you have noted that Nathan is making a Siyum off cycle. This is the 13th Daf Yomi cycle, which is scheduled to end in January 2020. When I was diagnosed with breast cancer the second time in December 2009, a particularly frightening time for us, Nathan told me that he decided to learn Daf Yomi in the zechut of my refuah, of my getting well. I asked Nathan several months ago, when you started, did you really think you were going to finish? It was a sincere question, as I truly couldn't imagine completing a 7.5-year project. And without missing a beat, he looked at me sweetly and replied, I had a really good incentive to stick with it. Most people who mark the passage of time do so by counting months or years, or birthdays and anniversaries. I have counted the passage of time by Mazal Tov. First midway into Bava Batra, that December in 2009, Chulin summer 2011, Brachot in summer 2012, Masechet Shabbos winter 2013, and oh my, Masechet Yavama winter 2014. I had to chase Nathan and his loud laptop out of our kitchen many times. Our sacred texts and rabbis are not uncomfortable discussing any topic in incredible detail, but so inappropriate with a 14-year-old daughter in the house. Nazir in the fall of 2015, and most recently back to Bava Batra. That's why, Nathan, I intermittently ask you, what Masechet are you on? Not because of random curiosity, but because for me, each time you mention a new Masechet, it's a wonderful marker of the passage of time. Your commitment to me, your commitment to Torah, and the gift from the Ribono Shel Olam of my continued good health. The cycle of Daf Yomi is blissfully long, 7.5 years long, and I'm grateful for every Masechet. But back to you, Nathan. What you have committed to is what has kept our people intact for millennia. A joyous commitment to the study of our Torah, both bichtav and sheba'al peh. A love of living by it and learning it. I and the boys have noticed the tremendous breadth and depth you have gained from Daf Yomi. So many of us gain from your remarkable memory and ability to integrate what you learn on both a micro and a macro level. Your study of Torah is always done with love, enthusiasm, and modesty. May you continue to learn with consistency in hitlahavut, and may you always fulfill the words we say every morning before Shema, v'ten b'libcha lahavinu, lahaskil, lishma, lilmod, lilamed, lishmor v'lasot, et kol divrei Toratacha da'ahava. Mazal Tov on your tremendous accomplishment.
Yeah, I'm here.
I think he does.
So I'll be brief, and I guess drew the straw that gets to speak on behalf of the kids. Yoni gets to record. So just a few short things. Everybody always tells me to say, you're so lucky to have your father. He does so many amazing things and incredible things. And you know what? I turn to them and I say, you know what? You're right. But I want to share with you some things that, particularly for me, have been ingrained in my life, and that I don't think everybody sees. So I remember every morning waking up, every Shabbos morning waking up, and you hear this loud booming voice of the Chumash going, and hearing Hebrew, and hearing Shnai Mikra, and waking up, and I could wake up and see him learning the newspaper, doing whatever he else is doing, which is completely great and wonderful. But there's something wonderful and special waking up Shabbos morning, and you walk downstairs, and you just see somebody committed to learning Torah. And I'd walk downstairs, and he wouldn't continue learning. He would turn to me, say, what can I get you for breakfast? What can I get you? What can I do? Get us breakfast, and then with an excitement and a passion and a fervor say, come sit on my lap, come learn with me. And before we could learn, I didn't really know what I was doing, but I would sit there, and before we could learn, we would walk all the way to Eidos, plenty far, and there would be stories. It would be story time. The stories weren't so, literal, as there were plenty of time machines and sports going on in them. But we always had a snippet of what was going on in the parsha. The Shabbos table was never all about just talking and having fun. There was plenty of that, but there were games. There was Shabbos baseball where we would run around the table after answering questions and sliding into chairs and probably breaking many things. There was always the Chumash game where we'd open it up and look through things and try to just familiarize ourselves with it. And then there was always singing around the table, always a sense of joy. Then finally, when we were 6 and 7, I was 6, I think Yoni was 4, we were able to learn, and so we started learning Mishnayot, one Mishnah every day. And it was always incentivized. It was always, come learn just one, and we'll play ping pong, we'll go get ice cream, we'll go do this, we'll go have fun. It wasn't forced. It didn't feel like a chore. Then when we became close to Bar Mitzvah, close to 13, he started teaching us how to learn and how to learn from the Torah. And we would always come to shul, and it would always be sitting next to you. It wouldn't be, you go to this minyan, I'll go to that minyan. You go here, you go do this. It was always, come with me to shul, or I'll go with you wherever you wanted to go. When Yoni wanted to go to Hashkama, he would also go to Hashkama. When I would lane in the later minyan and he had davened in Hashkama, he would come to them in later minyan and support us anyway. It just continued. And then even today, I'm 22 years old now, there's just still a commitment. Like my mom said, Daf Yomi is now standing because it's a long day and you're on service and you get back at 7 dinner, and then, how are you going to stay up? So you do Daf Yomi standing. But I think there are 2 lessons that, for me, are most important that I've taken, I guess, from my whole childhood till now. The first being that in my entire life, I've never heard you yell. Never once. No matter what we did, it didn't matter, because why would you yell? There's nothing that's worth it. And then finally, I think, and most importantly, I've never heard you complain about Judaism. I've never heard you say, oh, it's early to wake up to davening, I can't believe it, or Shabbos is so long, or I can't believe I have to do this. There was never a time where you complained. It was always an excitement, a passion, a joy, and a fervor with everything that you did. And so I think that for myself, Yoni, and Suzanne, and everybody who sees you, when we see that, we say, how could we not want to follow in your footsteps? How could we not want to live a life full of excitement, happiness, and fulfillment? It's just why would we do anything else? And I guess, there's nothing more important to you than family and Torah. And I want to close with what's really usually a bracha for you, but I'm going to take it as a bracha for the kids. The Gemara says, Ilan ilan b'ma'avarecha, tree, what am I supposed to bless you with? You have shade, you have fruits, you have all these things. So what should I bless you with? That all the things that come from you should be just like you. Afata, so now it changes back to the person, the human. What should I bless you? Im b'Torah, if it's with Torah. Hare Torah, you have Torah. Im b'osher, hare osher, you have it. Im b'banim, if it's with kids, you have kids. Rather, what should your bracha be? That those who come from you be just like you. So it's a bracha to you, I hope, but I think it's more of a bracha to us, that hopefully we can be just like you. Dad, you're the greatest role model that we could ever ask for, and we're so proud of you, and we love you.
All right, I wasn't expecting that. This is very nice. It's not my birthday. I thank you. That's what it's all about, really, right? Seeing nachas from your children. So I wanted to start off just by my father taught me and always says to be thankful, and I'm very thankful for a number of things. First, we want to thank God for us all being here, celebrating learning Torah, and just all of us being happy and healthy, and God willing, in the next cycle, when I finish Shas for the second time, we will be many more of us, and we will continue to have many, many simchas together. Thank you all for being here, and especially to my father and mother-in-law for coming all the way here. It's very special that you made the trip specifically for that from Los Angeles. Thank you very much. I got a very words of wisdom from Florence, actually. Is Florence here? There she is. Okay, so Florence actually is our neighbor, okay, and she was actually, when we sent her the invitation to come here, she was looking at what Daf Yomi was, and she kind of did all her homework, and then she said, what I learned from this is one thing, that Rachel is an unbelievable person. And you know what? She's absolutely right. So there's a story of Rabbi Akiva coming back, right, from learning for was it 21 years? 21 years or 14 years?
24.
24, thank you. Okay. For 24 years, and he comes back after 24 years to his wife Rachel, right? And he has his whole entourage with 24,000 Talmidim with him, and she comes over and they start pushing her away. Who's this woman? And he says, Shali v'shalcha shalahi. Meaning whatever I have and whatever you have to his Talmidim really belong to her. So that's really the way I feel, not just about today, but also just being supportive of learning Torah, right? I mean, we can make celebrations for anything, right? So Rachel decided to make the celebration for Siyum Hashas. That's, that's meaningful. That tells you something. And, all the times when I do have to learn, right, or I do want to learn, it takes time away from my from what I need to do also, and so Rachel, that's the only reason why it gets done. So thank you very much, Rachel, for that and for the beautiful words. And okay, so I wanted to just talk about a couple of things. First of all, it's a big simcha that we're having. On the other hand, things are not so great in Israel at the moment, and I think we have to kind of keep our mind on that as well. So just temper a little bit of the simcha with just thinking about what's going on to our brothers in Israel. I'm going to say the Hadran, and Hadran basically is a word which can have two different meanings. One is beauty. Hidor is beauty. The second one is to come back. Right? We're coming back to you. So this is, life is, I think, not a linear. It's not a linear path. It's really a circular path. I think that's kind of what we learn from everything we do. Shabbos, every week, Shabbos, right? Yantiv. We just go kind of around in a circle, and each time, hopefully, we incorporate whatever we have done the first time into the second time and then the third time. So I heard something very nice. I think it's from Ruben Margolis. Basically, he said, the neshama is a non-physical entity, and and how do we know that? Because as we get older, we hopefully get better. Not necessarily physically, but as a better person, right? And that's really, I think, what it's all about. It's kind of, you finish the cycle, and then you come back, and each time you come back, it becomes part of you, right? And that's, I think, one of the goals of learning, and especially of Daf Yomi. So we have the connection, I think, between Hidor, like Hadarta Pnei Zakein, right? We believe that older people are beautiful, not just that young physicality is beautiful. It's something that Rabbi Schmidman, Alav Shalom, said. And also going back, because we keep on going back and hopefully getting wiser each time. Okay. So I'm going to finish off Baba Batra and then say the Hadran for all of Shas as well. It's interesting, the first Mishnah on Baba Batra talks about two partners, and they have a falling out. So they decide they're going to put a wall in between their property. So it starts off with actually not such a nice thing, right? You have two partners, they're getting along, they no longer get along. In the end of Baba Batra, we have kind of the tikkun of that. And we have this idea of Rabinovitch, all right? You have a guarantor. This is something Rabbi Rosner said, this is not mine. That you have someone who really is not getting anything, but is still going to sign on the dotted line for someone else, okay, on a loan, for example. So we have three situations of a guarantor. One situation is where the person signs during the loan. So someone wants to give money, someone wants to support someone else. He doesn't have enough collateral, so this guy says, I'm going to put myself on the line, and I'm going to sign for him. That's one type of guarantor. The second one is an interesting one. It's after it happens. So someone now owes someone money, okay, and they have the creditors coming after them, and this person can't stand to see that this person's suffering. So he says, don't go after him. I'm going to take care of the loan. Okay, and then the third one is if someone owes someone money and is taken by Beit Din, and then he needs to be released, I guess on parole, whatever you call bail, I guess, right? So he says, I'm going to guarantee that I'm going to pay the loan for him if he can't pay the loan. And the Gemara just ends off by saying that these three situations have different halacha. So I'll just finish the last three lines of Baba Batra. Hilchata, the final halacha is that Arev Bishat Matan Mawat Lo Bai Kinyan. If this guarantor signs on the dotted line during the loan, at the time of the loan, he doesn't now have to make a separate transaction because the loan itself is part of the transaction. He himself has signed on the loan, so he has been involved in the loan. So he doesn't have to make a separate transaction. After the loan is given, then he does need to have a separate transaction because the person that lent the money didn't lend the money just because of the guarantor, okay? And finally, Arev de Beit Din, if he is a guarantor for Beit Din, Lo Bai Kinyan, he also doesn't need to make a separate transaction. Because he gets a certain amount of satisfaction that the Beit Din is counting on him as a good person who they could trust to bring back the loan. So just the idea about Revut and thinking about not just us but other people this should be a schus for Rachel and for other people who are having challenges, and we shall have simchas together. Okay, and I'm going to say the Hadron. I think I'm facing this way for the Kaddish, right? Yes.
Sounds
okay.
good.
Hadron alach get pashu to slikla masechta baba batra v'tamid bavli. Hadron alach get pashu to slikla masechta baba batra v'tamid bavli. Hadron alach masechta baba get pashu to slikla masechta baba batra v'tamid bavli. Hadron alach masechta baba batra v'tamid bavli. V'hadron alach datan alach masechta baba batra v'tamid bavli v'datach alan. V'ad nitishe minach masechta baba batra v'tamid bavli v'ad titishe minan lo ba'alma dehadein v'lo ba'alma da'ati. Hadron alach masechta baba batra v'tamid bavli v'hadrach alan. Datach alach masechta baba batra v'datach alan. V'ad titishe minach lo titishe minan lo ba'alma dehadein v'lo ba'alma da'ati. Hadron alach masechta baba batra v'tamid bavli v'hadrach alan. Datach alach masechta baba batra v'tamid bavli v'datach alan. But nitishe minach masechta baba batra v'tamid bavli v'lo titishe minan lo ba'alma dehadein v'lo ba'alma da'ati. Yivatzim l'chanecha adonai Eloheinu v'leivotenu shetei toratcha emunatenu b'olam hazeh utei imanu l'olam haba Chanina bar Papa, Rami bar Papa, Nachman bar Papa, Achai bar Papa, Abba Mari bar Papa, Rafram bar Papa, Rakish bar Papa, Surcha bar Papa, Ada bar Papa, Daru bar Papa. Harav nod Eloheinu divrei toratcha b'finu v'fiyot amcha beit Yisrael. ונהיה אנחנו כולנו, אנחנו וצאצאינו וצאצאי צאצאינו וצאצאי עמך בית ישראל, כולנו יודעי שמך ולמדי תורתך. נאהבי תחכמני מצוותך וכאילו אמהילי, יהי ליבי תמיד בחוקך למען לא יבוש. לעולם לא אשכח פקודיך כי בם חייתני, ברוך אתה אדוני, למדני חוקיך, אמן, 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 סלע ועד. מודים אנחנו לפניך, אדוני אלוהינו ואבותינו, ששמת חוקינו מיושבי בית המדרש, ושמת חלקנו מיושבי קרנות, שאנו משכימים והם משכימים. אנו משכימים לדברי תורה והם משכימים לדברים בטלים. אנו עמלים והם עמלים. אנו עמלים מקבלים שכר והם עמלים ואינם מקבלים שכר. אנו רצים והם רצים. אנו רצים לחיי העולם הבא והם רצים לבאר שחת. שנאמר ואתה אלוהים תורידם לבאר שחת אנשי דמים ורימה ויחצו ימיהם ואני אפתח בך. יהי רצון לפניך אדוני אלוהי כשם שזרתן לסיים מסכת בבא בתרא ותלמוד בבלי. כן תעזרנו להתחיל מסכתות וספרים אחרים, לסיים ללמוד וללמד לשמור ולעשות ולקיים את כל דברי תלמוד תורה באהבה. וזכות כל התנאים והאמוראים ותלמידי חכמים יעמוד לי ולזרעי, שלא תמוש התורה מפי זרעי וזרע זרעי עד עולם. ותתקיים בי בהתהלך תנחה אותך, בשוכבך תשמור לך, והקיצות היא תשיחך. כי בי ירבו ימיך ויוסיף לך שנות חיים, אורך ימים בימינה ובשמאלה עושר וכבוד. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן ואדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. יתגדל בגדי שמי רבה. ויעמד יגדלו עתיד להתחנתה ולחיים איתי ולעסקה ירתון לחיי עלמא ולמבנה קרתא דירושלים ושחלפה היכלה בגבה ולמקר פלחנה נחורה מן ערה וטבע פלחנה דשמיא לאתרי וימלך קודשא בריחו במלכותי ויקרא בחייכון ובימיכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בעגלה בזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתעלה שמי וקדושה בריחו לעילא מכל ברכתה ושבחתה ושבחתה ונחמתה דמיון בעלמא ואמרו אמן. על ישראל ורע בנן ועל תלמידי הון ועל כל תלמידי הון וכל מן דעסקים והרייתא די באתר הדין ודי בכל אתר ואתר. יהי להון אלפון שלמה רבה אחינו וחיסדו ורחמים וחי ריחד ומזוני רביחד ופורקנה מן קדם אבון דבשמיא וערה ואמרו אמן. היי שלמה רבה משמיא וחיים טובים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו והוא ברחם ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. Mazal Tov,